MovieWeb.com.
This is 2003. This is what the sun looks like, and the stars. This is the president. And this is the sun in 1955, and the stars, and the president. My parents got married in 1955. They had a child, and they stayed married for 44 years until my mother died. 6 months later, my father told me he was gay.
I'm gay.
I remember him wearing a purple sweater when he told me this, but actually he wore a robe.
I'm gay.
One of the things that I was discussing with Ewan was the idea that obviously you're the writer and director of this film, and it's clearly very autobiographical. What are sort of some of the challenges as well as benefits to directing an actor who's in so many ways playing out your life story?
Yeah.
In terms of, what's the balance between their own interpretation and getting
Well,
it
I
where you
wanted
want
him
it?
to take it over. I didn't want to make a memoir. It makes me like vertiginous thinking that it's me, you know?
Yeah.
And that really wasn't my goal. It's the only way I knew how to write about me and my dad. It's the only way I knew how to continue this amazing conversation we're having about love. And so that's how I ended up writing it. So believe it or not, I'm not a huge narcissist, and I didn't want Ewan to mimic me, but that's where we were. And
It's your Woody Allen movie.
yeah, yeah. But luckily Ewan and I share enough emotional something or other that it was easy. I loved what he did. It's not, I don't find it me. He took, he came from the same place I was coming from and went his own way with it. And that's what I wanted both of them to do, Christopher too. The first thing I said is, do not mimic us, do not feel burdened by us. Just take these lives and you do your version of it. And they're both really great, intelligent actors that knew how to do that really intuitively.
And it wasn't so much Christopher coming to you and saying, "How would your dad?"
Never. If he ever said that, I would slap
Would he
him.
tie the ascot this way?
That wasn't the trip at all. And Christopher all the time came to me saying, "I need to say this. I have to do this." And I loved it when he said "I," and I was like, and I would always say, "What do you mean? What do you need to say?" And that's to me when the film started taking life.
Now, a lot of the sort of stylistic choices in the film, with the old photographs and the voiceover narration, was that on the page, or were those things that developed later?
That was all on the page. It was all described. It wasn't very exciting reading, like describing that you're going to see stills of the sun and the stars and pets and people kissing and people laughing and people crying. All the drawings, he does all these drawings. They were all written out before I drew them because I wanted the content first before I knew what the visual form would be.
Now, I happen to be blessed to have some close friends who are graphic designers for a living, and I found even the set with the studio and the whole idea of a band coming in, and they just want something that's really basic, and you're trying to get them to do something that's more... I've just heard so many of those stories and seen so much of it. How important was it for you, with that as part of your background, to get it right in its portrayal on screen of what that profession is like?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love I come from doing graphic design, and in a lot of ways I still just totally identify as a graphic designer. It's a real specific kind of person, and I'm more kind of like shy and reserved like a graphic designer sometimes than I'm like a film director, to be honest. So, of course I wanted to get it right, or I know about it, so you don't want to get something wrong, And Ewan really fit right into that world, into that vibe, and he did some of the drawings too, or we did them together. And I was happy that got to be in a movie.
Yeah, I felt that there was so much about the film that there was such an authenticity, even down to those type of details. It had to have been based in some reality, and clearly the movie was. As far as the sort of actor filmmaking side of it, the constant hotel rooms and the disconnection, how much of that was informed by real life? And
that's more of a more like fits more squarely in the fictional box, like Melanie or Anna, the character, and Oliver. It's very much me, sides of me that I know. It's not a portrait of any real love I've been in, but it's I feel like it's a kind of a group portrait of so many people from my generation and younger who have real anxiety or questions about love, and is love really going to happen for them, or can they stay in love, can they stay in a relationship? And so I felt like I was talking about us, and I know about the hotel world a little bit from being a director, or that kind of world where you're always traveling, you're always leaving. It becomes quite convenient to not have to deal with your unresolved parts.
Sex, life, healing, nature, magic.
The memory of love's refrain.
This is what I'm supposed to feel like. Yeah, me too.